To give some context for today's project, I wanted to show you my existing miter saw workstation. There's a table on the left with a fence and it's bolted to the wall. There's a separate table for the miter saw itself. And then there's a right table also with a fence and that's bolted to the wall. It's got great capacity. On the left hand side of the saw I can cut longer than 8 feet. And on the right hand side more than 30 feet. So it's got tremendous capacity, but I hardly ever use that much capacity. So this is a lot of real estate to give up for infrequent use. Don't get me wrong, I use my miter saw on every project. I just don't always need 8 feet on either side of the saw. The second problem is I made it with MDF, which by itself was a mistake. MDF sags and droops when it's under load, and you can see on my miter saw, I even had to prop that up with a 2x6 under it, just because of that problem. The third problem, my workshop is in a walkout basement, so this is the concrete portion of that wall, and that table is bolted to concrete. The right-hand side is bolted to the wood framing. Concrete and wood expand and contract at different rates with changes in humidity and the seasons, so these two fences don't stay in alignment, and that results in inaccurate cuts. And that's one thing I can't have in my workshop is inaccuracy. So I'm going to replace this entire system with a portable system that I found plans for in issue number 11 of Shopnotes magazine. And I've left links in the description below where you can order either back issues of Shopnotes or the plans for just this one project. The miter saw workstation consists of 5 sub-assemblies. This main case, 2 extension wings, and 2 fences. The main case is 32 inches wide by 16 inches deep, and it's made of a combination of plywood for all the horizontal surfaces and solid wood for all the vertical surfaces, and I'm using poplar. The wings store inside the case and they're held in place with threaded knobs. Those come out and they're held in place with the same threaded knobs to be the extension wings. The wings consist of a wing table. It's a 10 7/8 of an inch wide by 15 7/8 of an inch long. These 2 wing supports and the ends. I took some liberties with the fence. I didn't make mine like they did in the article in Shopnotes. I used more hardware, aluminum angle, and these extrusions, along with the wooden face. These bolt onto the case and the wings with more threaded knobs. I'll start working on the case by ripping this piece and these pieces. One piece of the sides is 3 inches wide. I'll be able to get both front and back side pieces from this one 1x8. And I'll cut them to length at 32 inches. The height of the table of my miter saw is just a little over 3.5 inches, so I ripped a strip to match. Now I'm going to cut 5.5 inch pieces from it for the rest of that U shape. Here's how I've laid out the cuts on this 3-foot by 4-foot piece of plywood. This will be the bottom. This will be the platform that the miter saw sits on, and these will be those 2 top side pieces. These will be the tables for the 2 wings. I'm going to make this cut first, and I've got my rip fence set for 28 inches. I've reset the rip fence for 16 inches, and I've rotated the piece so this freshly cut edge will be against it. I'll make this cut and this cut. And now I can make these cross cuts. These 2 wing tops need to each be 15 7/8 of an inch long. These top pieces need to be 5.5 inches, and the platform needs to be 21. I need 4 of these work pieces exactly the same shape, so I cut this template out of 1/4-inch masonite. And then I use the template to draw the shape onto the workpiece. I'll take this over to the bandsaw and cut it out, staying away from the line, and then when I've cut all 4 out, I'll take them over to the router table. I'll use double-sided tape to stick the template back on the workpiece, and use a flush trim bit in the router table to trim exactly to that template shape. For stronger glue joints, I'm going to cut rabbets in the edges of all the plywood pieces. The bottom, the platform, the 2 top pieces, and the tables for the wings. And I'm going to use the router table this time. with all the rabbets complete and the pieces dry fitted together, I can come back and pre-drill for all the screws that are going to be used to fasten it together. Once I've done that, I'll take it back apart and apply glue and then screw it together permanently. And here's a top-down look at it. I've also already pre-drilled 4 mounting holes for my miter saw, and I inserted T-nuts from underneath. And these openings need to be filled, so I've cut some pieces of poplar to fit. I'll glue and screw these into place. Now I need some blocking glued and screwed into both ends on both sides. 1 3/4 wide by whatever this opening height is, these are what the wings will bolt to. Each of these support blocks needs a hole for a T-nut. I've got my fence and a stop block set. The hole is 1/2 inch from the side and 3/4 of an inch from the top. I pre-drilled some holes for fastening the block into place. Now I can glue it. Now I've got these pieces to glue on here at the bottom. They're 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch. They'll do a couple of things. Cover up this exposed plywood edge and provide a place for the end of the wing to rest on. Now I need to cut the ends for the wings to size. 16 inches, the width of the case, and I'll mark for the exact height. And that's the way I like to see it fit. Now I need to transfer these 2 hole locations to here, and when I flip it over, to here. And for that, I'm going to use dowel centers. Need to line it up just right and then press. Can you see that? So that's where I'll drill my holes. Next, I want to cut handholds in both of them before I fasten the wing tables and the wing supports. Here I've got one of the wing assemblies upside down on the table saw just to show how it's going to go together. There are the wing supports. Here's the front and here's the wing table. I'm going to first put biscuits in here, a couple of them, and it's not called for in the plan, but I think it's going to make a better joint. I'll get these pieces glued together and then I'll fasten the wing supports. Well, I made a mistake. I had intended to cut out these handholds before I glued the pieces together, but then I neglected to do that. So I won't be able to use the drill press now to drill starting holes here at the ends. I'll just have to use a handheld drill instead. And then a handheld jigsaw to cut out between them. I have the same flush trim bit still on the router table, and I've used double-sided tape to attach two straight edges. And I'll finish up rounding over the edge with a 1/4 round bit. And now I can start fastening the wing supports on. I mentioned that my fences are going to be different than they were in the article in Shopnotes. I'm starting with stock 3.5 inches wide, and I've already cross-cut it to the same 32 inches as the width of the U-shaped case. Now I'm going to rip it down to 2.5 inches wide. So the fence will go together like this. And I'll drill the mounting holes through this channel. Then I'll attach the aluminum angle. I got two self-stick tape measures. This one reads from right to left, and the one for the other fence reads from left to right. I cleaned off the channel with alcohol where the tape is going to stick down, and I made a mark at 19.5 inches, so I'll peel the back off the tape and stick it down lining up that 19.5 inch mark. Now trim off the ends. And with 4 more holes with T-nuts behind them here on the back side of the workstation, I've got a place to store my fences when I'm transporting it. One nice thing about it, I can bring it outside if I want to do any miter sawing and keep all the noise and sawdust out of the house. And it works just as well on the back of a pickup if you're a contractor out in the field. Time for me to be moving on to my next job. Guys, thanks for watching.